Press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
When you go to jobs, most of the work you have to do is either on Excel or PowerPoint because you have to present or show insights. So that is one thing which I think very few colleges in India teach. So that's why NIFTM is special.
Everyone. Today we are back with another episode of Know Your Alumni. Today we have Mr. Nikhil Chadda. He is a BTech 2016 graduate from NIFTM. He has worked with DS Group and then he graduated from IIM Ahmedabad recently. So today we'll have conversation with him and know his experiences. Hi Nikhil.
Hi Gagan.
So tell us something about your life at NIFTM, how life happened, like your friend circle, what did you do as a first batch, what difficulties you faced, something like that.
Surely. So I'll share some few inside information as well, which many people new batch wouldn't be knowing. So as a first batch of NIFTM, when we joined, so we were given these high aspirations that it's a field which has a lot of potential, and we were shown this dream that we'll get a really high paid job, and people had big numbers in their mind and they had really high expectations in the beginning. And day one when we joined NIFTM, so then the reality, we came to know about the reality started to we started to know about the reality. There were many rooms which didn't have beds in it, and people were just lying on the cushions. So there were a lot of challenges, and many few people would know this, that boys and girls were living in the same hostel. We did have separations in it, but yeah, we were living in the same hostel. For some boys it was like a blessing in disguise, but yeah, that was a really memorable thing that no other batch got to experience. Then after that, as we moved along, there were no rules and regulations, there were no clubs. So as a first batch of NIFTM, the founding batch of NIFTM, we were the ones who learned from the MTech guys because they had prior experience in other colleges. We learned from them what all activities used to happen in the colleges, and we built everything along. And now I see, NIFTM has its own committee, and there are clubs, and people are having elections as well. So democracy is coming. People have the right to vote to select their leaders. It feels great that it has built a great foundation. So we were the ones who laid the foundation, and the rest of the batches have really done a commendable job of making it what it is today. So yeah, in my experience, my 4 years journey was a really good experience. Apart from academics, I think NIFTM is one institute which taught us the ground realities as well, and also how to do things practically. I don't know, some rules have changed nowadays related to village adoption program, but back in our days we used to visit the village every semester, and it was a difficult time, but I think I could have never come to know that there is a part of India where there is no electricity till date, right? And living in those conditions is really hard. So I was finding it difficult to live in those conditions. Imagine the farmers who are not just living in those conditions. They used to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, and they used to go to the field because they used to get 2 hours of electricity. They used to start their pumps so that they can uh, get their fields with water, fill their fields with water, which was required for the crops. So there were many learnings that I got from village adoption program, and it was really a great thing. And another thing that I learned from NIFTM, which helped me a lot in IIM as well, was the presentation skills. So after every WAP, we used to have this, where Vice Chancellor himself used to come and evaluate our performances, and we used to make a presentation for it. So learning those presentation skills way too early in life is like really great, because when you go to jobs, most of the work you have to do is either on Excel or PowerPoint. because you have to present or show insights. So that is one thing which I think very few colleges in India teach. So that's why NIFTM is special.
Coming forward, what was your approach to the placement and how did you land up at DS Group? What was your experience there?
DS was like the second or third company which came to the college, and first company which visited our college was Nestle. So Nestle was a brain company for all, and everyone wanted to get into it, but then they had their own rules. So in placements, usually many people think that academics matter a lot and all that stuff. So first of all, I would just like to say there are very few companies like Nestle, because Nestle also had some academic rule into it. There are very few companies who look into the academics part of it as far as bachelor's degree is concerned. Most of the companies would look into your soft skills. And when I talk about soft skills, confidence and communication skills are the most important thing which will be expected by a company. And another thing which is very important is how good a listener you are, because when you go to a quality or a production kind of a job in any food company, so SOPs have already been made. There are very few cases that you'll get in a job scenario where you have to which will be new to you, and in those cases people who have experience will give you some instructions. It is very important to follow those instructions, because it can lead to a very big mishap and lead to a loss of lakhs and crores of rupees in a food industry. So I think more than academics, I think your soft skills matter when people are looking to hire you. And for me, I just prepared the basics. I never went into depth while preparing for placements. And I was not looking for a high paying job, rather than I was looking for a job where I'll get to learn new things. So DS Group was opening up its new dairy plant. It was diversifying like ITC has already done. So I was always into this new things, new innovative companies. So this was a good chance for me to work in a startup scenario, because DS Group had no experience in setting up a dairy and running it. So many people wanted to go into ITC because it was a high paying job and Jivoton, but later left it. But I stayed there. I stayed at DS Group for whole 1 year. And later I gave it up because I wanted to do MBA. If I was not planning to do MBA, I would have stayed further in DS Group, because it was a really good learning environment that I got. So my suggestion to everyone would be, don't choose a job just because it's high paying, rather than choose a career. Career is more important than job. So job is different and career is different. When you choose a career path, you are clear in your mind what you want to get and where do you want to reach in the future.
So how after that job did you prepare for the MBA? How the shift came? You want to do an MBA? How was your preparation?
Okay, yes. So I'll tell you more about it. So my expectation from a job, as I told you, was to try out new things and implement new things in a startup scenario. But we always have expectations and reality is different. So when I went to the job, in starting, we were allowed to make few changes because those changes were very necessary. Like there were no good hygiene practices, there was no HACCP rules, and our aim was to get a few certifications like halal certifications to export to Arabian countries, Middle East countries. So in starting, it was a very exciting job, but later on, when we standardized few operations, then it became a monotonous job where you just have to go and meet the production targets. And DS was hiring some people from IIM Ranchi, Raipur. They were hiring from new IIMs. So they used to visit our plant for some projects. So when they visited our plant, 2 of them visited our plant. They were new interns, and they had a project which they had to complete in 3 months. So my production manager told me to help them out. So I helped them out. I provided them with the data and stuff, and they used to call me. So company had offered them hotels to live in. So they called me up and some because I helped them. When I went, I just inquired a little bit more about their project and stuff like that, and what does MBA do to their life. Both of them were engineers from their graduation. So they told me that the biggest shift that they see is like they take very hardcore decisions and very big decisions which bring about a big change in a company. So that was the thing, I always wanted to do something like that. So that was the thing I thought that I should now focus on my career. And after 3 months of preparation, I was sure that if I leave the job now and spend my rest of the time preparing for CAT, I'll be able to crack it. So I left the job and basically prepared for CAT and then went to work.
So any tips you want to give for the CAT aspirants? How can they utilize the lockdown?
Okay, for CAT aspirants, so I'll tell you both the things. Number one, consistency is the main key. No matter what happens, if you have decided, you are going to sit for CAT. For example, if you're deciding today, you have to study for 3 hours, like 1 hour each for every section daily, no matter what. I had, there was a family wedding which I had in between. I didn't attend all of the ceremonies. I just attended the wedding. And on the day of the wedding also, I sat for those 3 hours. Like I gave 1 hour each for every section. So consistency is the key. Every day you have to give this 1 hour at least. So my formula was I used to give like 2 to 3 hours to every section each day. But there are few exceptions, like wedding came. So on the wedding day, I just gave 1 hour. So on the exceptions day, you can give just 1 hour. That is fine. That is allowed. But make sure you sit every day. So consistency is the key. This is the number one. Number two thing is to identify which is your weak area. In my case, weak area was BA, verbal ability. So in verbal ability, I was sure that reading comprehension consists of the majority of the part, and I was lucky because in that particular year only reading comprehension came in some or the other way. Like there were no para jumbles and stuff like that. So I was lucky in that case. So you need to figure out which is your weak area and work on it, and you also need to identify your strongest area. So in my case, quant, I knew that I am good at it. I was good at it when I was in 12th also. So I had this feeling I'm pretty much good in quants. So you need to figure out in which area you are weak and work on it. So these two things, and at the end of it, give a lot of mocks and stuff like that. I think you can crack CAT easily.
So what changes do you see in yourself, like Nikhil before NIFTEM versus after NIFTEM? How did life change?
Okay, so before NIFTEM, I was a really mischievous guy. I used to do like pretty much all the naughty and mischievous things that one can think of, pranks and stuff like that when I was in school. And when I entered NIFTEM for 1 year, I was like that itself. There were like no major changes that came into me. But in second year, I got jaundice, because of which I couldn't attend 2 months of classes. And so me and one of my friends, Rajat, he also got jaundice. So we both couldn't attend classes for 2 months. And then came a day where we were told to give. So you must be knowing there are 9 or 10 subjects, right, in each semester in NIFTEM. So we were told to give 9 exams, 9 final exams, 9 mid semesters, and 6 labs. So in third semester, you basically have six subjects which have lab as well. So in totality, there were 24 exams that we had to give within like 28 to 29 days, like that. And we hadn't studied anything. At that point of time, we both got really scared because the DSW at that point of time was threatening us that we have to repeat the year and stuff and everything. So yeah, teachers helped us a lot. Our batchmates helped us a lot. They taught us everything. Somehow we managed to pass. I clearly know we scored something around 7.5, 7.6 like that. We managed to pass and score something. And after that, I became really serious because I got to know that if you want to do MBA, your score should be more than 8, your CGPA should be more than 8. And after that, I really started working hard. And I became more, diligent in my work.
A message that you would like to give to all the Niftamites hearing you out there.
So one message to all the Niftamites is, stay away from fountains as much as possible. Okay, this would be one major thing. Second would be, you might be doubting, see, Niftem is far more better than any other college in food and agriculture right now. You don't have to worry. The placements are really good, and in the corporate world also, Niftem has a very good reputed name because people who have passed out are really working hard and making a good name for themselves. So don't worry, just work hard. Okay, stay consistent in whatever you want to do, and build your network. See, there are people from Niftem who have passed out, have done management, have gone to foreign countries, have gone to best of the universities to pursue Masters of Science as well. So if you need any help from the seniors, you can always ask from them, and just keep working hard. I think that is the formula. Stay happy always and keep working hard. That would be my message from Niftem.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for giving your time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for interviewing me because Niftem is really close to my heart. So